Okay, so आजको टपिक हो विल एक्सप्लोर मोर इन फोटोइलेक्ट्रिक इफेक्ट। फोटोइलेक्ट्रिक इफेक्टमा के हुन्छ अझै त्यो एक्सप्लोर गरौँ। सो हिजो भनेको एक दुईवटा कुरा रिभाइज गर्नुपर्छ। के भनेको थिएँ हिजो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ, सो इफ यु हेभ अ कोअर्डिनेट सिस्टम लाइक दिस वेयर this x-axis represents potential and the y-axis represents the current, photocurrent, right? So your stopping potential array. So this is V stopping potential. So the photoelectrons are decreasing, velocity is decreasing. Then at this point there is no external voltage applied. So now positive voltage is applied, it goes on increasing and then stabilizes after some time. So we have a graph something like this, right? So let's say this is for intensity 1. So for a light of intensity 1 whose frequency is nu. Now if I have another light whose intensity is little bit lower than I1, so I have another intensity of light that is I2 which is lower than I1, but it has the same frequency, then we can logically conclude, not logically, we have to conclude that they will have the same stopping potential. Stopping potential एउटै हुन्छ. If the frequency of light remains the same, means the light is emitted from the same source. If the light is emitted from the same source, the stopping potential will be the same. Why is that? Because a light with a particular frequency, light with a particular frequency can excite an electron to a velocity that is constant throughout that frequency band. So if you have a light of, let's say, frequency value ranging from how much, 0.1 second to 0.1 second inverse to 0.8 second inverse, right? So there is light that can have frequency ranging from 0.1 to 0.8 second inverse, right? It's the band of frequency, right? Now if I take a light of exactly 0.01 second inverse, right? Now I can take this light having this frequency and can have two extremities of intensities. I can have a very intense light of this frequency or a very weak light of this intensity, right? So I can have two contrasting spectrums of a same light with the same frequency. I can have a very intense light of that frequency or a very weak light of that frequency. But the most important thing is both of these frequencies and both of these intensities that come from the same frequency can accelerate an electron, that is a photoelectron, to one constant velocity. So it will accelerate to one constant final or maximum velocity. So it can have only one maximum velocity. So if I have a photoelectric emitter like this, right, and I shine a light of frequency nu, right, and it's a very weak light, of that intensity, and we try to measure the kinetic energy of the coming electrons. So we get a kinetic energy, let's say k1. Now I shine in the same photoelectric emitter a light with a very strong intensity, right, and try to measure the kinetic energy of the emitted electrons. I find that kinetic energy of those electrons also is equal to this one. So here we come to a conclusion that if a light has the same frequency, its stopping potential will be the same, because the kinetic energy of the maximum kinetic energy of electrons will remain exactly the same. So the maximum kinetic energy will not be affected by the intensity of light. It'll just be affected by frequency. So if you increase and decrease the frequency, your stopping potential will increase or decrease. But now if I have another light which has intensity less than the first intensity, then my stopping potential will remain the same. The graph will start from the same position, go to some lower point, reach a higher point, stay here, right? The photocurrent will be affected by the intensity, because yesterday, yes, bhai.
सर भन्नुभएको लाइटको इन्टेन्सिटीले चाहिँ भोल्टेज एफेक्ट गर्दैन, करेन्टमा चाहिँ एफेक्ट गर्छ।
भोल्टेज इफेक्ट पार्दैन होइन, लाइटको फ्रिक्वेन्सीले चाहिँ काइनेटिक एनर्जी इफेक्ट गर्दैन, बिकज स्टपिङ पोटेन्सियल इज बेसिकली द काइनेटिक एनर्जी अफ द electron that is emitted, maximum kinetic energy. So what is the maximum potential that you need to supply through your battery to stop the electron, right? Are you getting it? Okay, now continue.
अनि त्यतिखेर
So this basically means यो भन्न चाहिँ के भन्न खोजेको मैले भने चाहिँ so यो stopping potential भनेको you should not consider this as a simple entity. Okay, stopping potential भनेको चाहिँ it's very complex. So there is some electron that is being emitted as a result of photoelectric effect from a surface, right? Now that electron, those electrons have varying velocities, and some electrons will have a maximum velocity, right? Some will have very low velocity, and some will have velocities that is very high. And one or few electrons will have a maximum velocity. Now, stopping potential is basically that potential that is supplied in reverse direction by the battery to stop the fastest electrons completely. Okay, so that phenomenon is not affected by the intensity. Intensity only affects the number of electrons. Katiwata electron is getting emitted. So the number of electrons that is getting emitted from a photoelectric plate or a photoelectric emitter depends upon the intensity. So the number of electrons will depend on the intensity, right? But the stopping potential will not depend on the intensity. So you can have any intensity of the same frequency, right? You can have any intensity of same frequency, but your stopping potential will always remain constant for a same frequency. If the frequency remains constant, your stopping potential will always remain constant. Okay, so this is one important thing that you need to know. So intensity only affects the number of electrons that is getting emitted. If you have a more intense light, like a simple analogy is solar panel. If you have a bright shining sunlight directly facing the solar panel, your thing that is connected to the other end, a battery or maybe whatever it is, it'll get charged faster, right? Compared to when the sun is not directly shining over the solar panel. The solar panel will receive the photons, right? It is not necessary that it should be directly facing the solar panel. But now since it is not facing the solar panel, the intensity is low, right? Since the intensity is low, the charging will be slow as well, right? The battery that is connected to the other end of the solar panel will get charged slowly as compared to the one where sun was directly facing the solar panel, right? So this is the analogy that you can use to understand this. So intensity affects photoelectrons. It affects the number of photoelectrons coming out of a photoelectric emitter, but the intensity will not affect the stopping potential. Okay, this should be clear. Now, next one is, how does frequency affect this? So this one is potential. This is photocurrent. Now I have two light sources with two different frequencies, right? I have two light sources with two different frequencies, but same intensity. So I have a constant intensity, right? But the frequency of both the light sources are different. So what will this basically mean is, we'll have two stopping potentials. So we have this for stopping potential 1, stopping potential 2, this is frequency 1, this is frequency 2. Now, since the intensity is remaining the same, will not have any effect on the photoelectrons, right? The photoelectrons emitted will be the same. But now what is different is the stopping potential. Now of high frequency will affect the kinetic energy of the electrons. So higher frequency may increase the kinetic energy of electrons, right? So if you supply higher frequency light source, it may increase the kinetic energy, may or may not sure, right? So the frequency will affect the kinetic energy of the electrons. The only thing that can affect the kinetic energy of an electron is frequency, not intensity, right? So since here we have different frequencies, we'll have different stopping potential, because one frequency may excite or accelerate an electron to a higher velocity than the other one, right? So clearly from this diagram, from this graph, it can be clearly concluded that this frequency is making the electrons move faster, right? This electron is making the electrons move faster because we are requiring more negative potential to stop the electron, and this frequency is making the electrons go slower because we are requiring a comparatively lower amount of voltage to stop the electrons, right? So is that clear? Okay, so photocurrent Photocurrent depends on intensity. That is one thing. Photocurrent depends on intensity. Stopping potential does not depend on intensity, right? Stopping potential only depends upon the frequency of light source. Okay, this is there. Then what next do we need to study? Yeah, I told you again and again, it's there in the book as well. Number of photoelectrons and intensity of light. So number of photoelectrons will increase with the increase in intensity of light, right? But if the intensity remains the same and frequency doesn't change, it will not affect the number of photoelectrons. Kinetic energy of fastest photoelectron is independent of intensity of light. Exactly. So kinetic energy of the fastest electron, is independent on intensity, of the light. It'll just depend upon the frequency of light. Kinetic energy of fastest photoelectron depends on the frequency of light. Yeah, the kinetic energy of fastest electron will only depend upon the frequency of light and not on the intensity, right? So this is the thing you need to know. Okay, so this is clear, right? Photoelectric effect till here. Okay, so now what we do is we'll try to study a little bit about photons. So what is photons? What is a photon? So photon is anything. Photon is the carrier of what? What is a photon? What does photon carry?
Energy.
Yeah, photon is a carrier of energy. It's an energy packet. Where is it present? It is present in light mostly. So carrier of energy of light is known as photons. So basically, when light is shining on you from some source, let's say a torch light, let's say sun or whatever it is, the light is traveling in forms of packets, right? Packets of energy, and those packets are known as photons, right? Simple. So in the initial stages of development of photons, it was believed that photons just had the energy, right? They were the energy was stored in the form of packets called photons, and no one had come to a conclusion that photons are actually the one moving. Photons are actually the ones carrying the energy, right? So Einstein's theory of relativity and Einstein's further experimentation on photoelectric effect Einstein came to a conclusion that photons are actually the one that have the energy, and they are actually the one who transfer the energy. They are the ones who carry the energy from one place to another, from the source to the receiver, right? So photons are the ones that carry the energy. So that was studied by Einstein. It was used by Niels Bohr to study the hydrogen spectrum. So we did that spectrum, right? So Lyman series, then Paschen series, the Balmer series. So that was the theory that was put forward by Einstein, and Niels Bohr used that theory to study the spectral lines of hydrogen, right? So by then Einstein had formulated a relation stating that photons are the energy packets, right? I think this was done by Max Planck. Max Planck was the one who actually found out that energy is carried in the form of packets. Photons are the ones that carry the photons are the ones that contain the energy, right? But he was not confident about whether photons are the ones that carry the energy, that photons are the ones that move. So Einstein, after studying the photoelectric effect and discovering a lot of things about photoelectric effect, came to a conclusion that photons are indeed the ones that carry the energy as well. So photons are the energy packets as well, and they carry the energy as well, right? So I don't know what is there in your syllabus and what is not. So I think wave particle duality is there. So what do you think about photons? So are photons divisible? Can we divide photons? Can we split photons?
Photons?
Yes. No. Yeah, photons cannot be divided. They cannot be split. These are just packets of electromagnetic energy, electromagnetic radiation, right? They store a form of energy and transfer those energies. So these cannot be broken down or split into smaller fragments. So if I say you that, okay, like if I say a photon emitted from sun and a photon emitted from a torchlight. So can I quantitatively equate these two? For photon emitted by sun and photon emitted by a torchlight. So can I quantitatively can I equate? मतलब photon of sun is equal to photon of torchlight भन्न सक्छु. One photon emitted by sun is equal to one photon emitted by a torchlight. So can I come to a conclusion like that?
different frequency को हुन्छ different wavelength.
Exactly. So photons are energy carriers, right? They carry energy, but the each photon may carry different amount of energy for different sources, right? So a photon that is emitted by sun may carry 1,000 or million times more energy than what a normal standard torchlight can emit, right? So photons are packet of energy, they are sources of energy, right? But the amount of energy that a photon may store varies upon the source, right? If it is emitted by sun, it will have a different energy. If it's emitted by any other source, it will have different energy. So there is this yes,
4G र 5G जस्तो छ. 4G carries more information.
exactly, correct. So it is given in the book that each photon of a given radiation has the same energy, where h is known as the Planck's constant and its value is given by h. So basically photon is energy, right? So what is energy dependent on? Let's say electromagnetic energy. Yeah. So there is one factor that energy depends on, electromagnetic energy. I'm not talking about kinetic energy or potential energy or anything. EM waves, electromagnetic waves, are dependent on only one factor. What is it? It is it's wave के कुरा हो. Frequency. So energy is always dependent on frequency of light, right? If frequency is more, energy is more. Frequency is less, energy is less. And to remove this proportionality sign, we put a constant, and that constant is known as Planck's constant. So the photon, which is also a source of energy, let's say electromagnetic energy, will also depend on the frequency of light. So which basically tells each photon may carry different amount of energy, right? So every photon emitted from sun will carry different energy, totally different amount of energy than the photon emitted from a torchlight, because the frequency of light that is emitted by sun is different from the frequency of light that is emitted by a torchlight. So we have a relation E is equal to h into nu. So the photon emitted from any source is totally dependent on the frequency of the source. So is this clear? Okay. So now if we say there are n number of photons that is emitted from a source, so will the energy depend on the number of photons as well?
Total energy त हुन्छ.
Exactly. So total energy will depend on the number of photons. So n into h nu. So energy emitted by a source, total energy emitted by a source that has emitted n number of photons, is given by n into h nu. Very simple, very straightforward, right? So photons are packets of energy. So these packets are not universally, they don't have a universal value. It will depend on the source. Basically, it will depend on the frequency of the source, right? It is given by E equal to h nu. It will depend on the energy that is released, that comes out of a source, will depend on the number of photons as well from this relation. So this relation gives an idea about the relationship between the energy that is emitted from a source to the energy of a photon multiplied by the number of photons that is being emitted. So total energy that is produced by a source or given out by a source is n times h nu, n times the energy of one photon. So this is the energy of one photon, right? Energy of one photon. So n is the number of photons, and h nu is the energy of one photon, right? So I think this is the basics that you need to know. I don't think anything else is required. Yeah, I think one more thing is required, but I don't think it's there in your syllabus. So photons, the speciality of photons is they have velocity that is equal to speed of light when there is no resistance, right? When they are in a transparent medium like air. So their velocity is 3 into 10 to the power 8. And when they are in air, right? So they have the velocity of light. So which basically solidifies that these are electromagnetic waves. And they have zero rest mass. Zero rest mass means in the state of rest, the mass of photon is zero. So these can't exist in the state of rest, because whenever the velocity increases, so according to the special theory of relativity by Einstein, so whenever there is an increase in velocity, we tend to increase the mass, right? Whenever we have an increase in velocity, the mass of a body will increase. So that is the reason why the duality nature of light came into existence, because these photons will not have any mass in the state of rest, right? Which basically means that they are not particles in the state of rest. They can't exist in the state of rest, right? They'll have mass only when they are when they are moving at a very high velocity, because increase in velocity will tend to increase the mass of the body. That is from the Einstein's theory of relativity, right? So we have an energy equation. Do you know the energy equation of Einstein? What is the energy equation of Einstein?
equals to mc square.
E equal to mc square, right? So there is a modified equation for this energy in terms of rest mass. So it is m naught square into c to the power 4 plus p into c plus p into c.
p to c whole.
No, p square c square. Sorry, p c whole square. यो पनि m पनि 4 हो. E square छ, e पनि square छ. Okay. So energy squared equal to m naught to the power 4 into c to the power 4 plus p into c whole square. So now we know that. Yes. Yes, bana.
एसएफ साइन्स को हेर्नु भएको छ यो?
के को?
एसएफ साइन्स को यो भिडियो हेर्नु भएको छ?
छुइनँ त.
यो e स्क्वायर इक्वल्स टु mc स्क्वायर होल स्क्वायर प्लस pc होल स्क्वायर भनेको छ. म त लिङ्क पठाउँछु नि अहिले.
यही भनेको त.
यस्तो दामी एक्सप्लेन गरेछ कि दा.
यो त हो नि. यो त when rest mass of a body is considered नि. So यही इक्वेसन त डिराइभ भएको त आफ्टर वेभ पार्टिकल डुअलिटी. वेभ पार्टिकल पनि बिहेभ गर्न सक्छ, पार्टिकल वेभ पनि बिहेभ गर्न सक्छ. द्याट्स वाइ वी हेभ दिस रेस्ट मास थिङ. So if something is behaving as a particle, it has to have a rest mass, right? So that's why we are considering this. तर for a photon, rest mass is 0. So E square will be equal to PC whole square, which is equal to P भनेको के हो? What is P?
Momentum.
Momentum is what? M into?
Mass time velocity.
Yeah, mass into C whole square. Yeah, E square छ. So now E square will be equal to M square into C to the power 4. So put square root on both sides. Square root on both sides, we get E will be equal to M into C square. So this is only for light. Yes, exactly. Anything that is traveling in the speed of light will have this amount of energy, right? So anything. Yes. Exactly. After momentum, so you can either stop the derivation at this point, so you can have a relation something like E equal to P square, C square, or E equal to P into C. So this you can end your derivation here. If you are not given mass and all those things, if you are just given the momentum, right, which may be possible in some cases. So when you are just given the momentum of some particle, right, and C is always known 3 into 10 to the power 8. So you can use this relation, or you can further simplify to E equal to mc square, which is the standard form of this formula, which we know, right? So this is what rest mass of something is. So photons do not have any rest mass, so they just move, and when they move, they have a mass, and that mass comes into account of the wave particle duality. So how waves can act like a particle and particle act like a wave. So that will be explained later in this chapter. So there is an experiment which is used to determine the wave particle duality, and basically there is an experiment to explain what Einstein was thinking at that time. So when he was formulating this, It's actually very difficult to think about that. Even Einstein didn't know what he was thinking. He was so absent-minded. So we'll try to decipher it a little bit. So what was Einstein trying to think, and what was the main intention of this guy deriving this relation? So we will do this tomorrow. Wave nature of matter. So de Broglie's relation for wave particle duality. So there is a formula that relates the wave nature. That is, can you tell me which factor decides the wave nature? What is the factor that is closely associated to wave nature?
फेक्ने चाहिँ भन्दाखेरि
Wave nature, कुनै चीज wave छ अरे. So what is the first thing that you try to derive from this wave? First parameter that you try to take out from this, like infer from this wave. So when I give you a particle, you'll try to first find the mass, right? You'll try to find the mass, right? So now if I give you a wave, so frequency to only when you have a frequency meter you can find it. So what is the most closest thing? So frequency is correct. I can give you marks for this. Frequency is correct. One more thing, that is solely a wave property and not a particle property. Yes, it is just a wave property, not particle property. Wavelength. Right. So there is a thing called de Broglie's hypothesis. De Broglie's L-I-E-S hypothesis that gives a relationship between the wave particle and the particle nature of a duality. So wave and particle. So wave is most importantly given by lambda or frequency, right? So you can define wave by wavelength or frequency most accurately. And the best way to define particle is by mass or momentum, right? P equal to m into v. Either mass or momentum, because momentum contains mass. So there is a relation that equates these two. It's very interesting. So we'll do this tomorrow. And there is one more experiment called Davison's Germer experiment about a nickel plate or something. So I think it's a nickel plate only. Yeah, it's a block of nickel wala experiment. It's very simple. We'll do it tomorrow. Okay. So Compton effect is one, de Broglie's hypothesis is one, and this Davison-Germer experiment is the last topic for tomorrow. Okay, this is it for today. Any doubt?
clear